So, as we mentioned, you are all aboard the Omega. The ship has sustained some damage, and it is in the midst of undergoing repairs, but you can't wait any longer. Stuck a turncoat has been down there meeting with Rex Lightning for several days now. You haven't heard anything from her, which isn't too surprising because all of the Maxilev particles that flood the atmosphere and local space mean that long distance communications are not particularly viable unless you're using like laser transmissions or direct line of sight. Things like radar just don't work. You can't really have homing missiles because those require remote control. People who do have remote controlled vehicles of some sort usually has to be tethered to them, or it's very slow, not slow, very short range. So broadcast long distance communications, it's all very difficult. It's part of what led to the beginning of the war between the Earth and the colonies. Was that Y final, which we all know about because we've all been watching excessive now, no doubt. So you are all set now, and we now need to figure out how we're going to plan the mission. Now, when you plan a mission in Forged in the Dark games, such as Beam Saber, you don't actually plan everything out. You decide how you're going to do it. Yeah. You decide how you're going to do it, and then we do a roll. And the roll determines how good of a place you're in when the mission starts and how well your plan is going when we jump to the action. And then you can use flashbacks to fill in the blanks on your mission. And you declare your gear as you go because because you planned for this, you have that gear. So you just declare it and say, my part of my load is this gear that I needed in this moment because I planned for this. So there's a certain level of competence that is assumed of your characters in this game.
Incorrectly.
Well, it's assumed, and we know what they say about assumptions.
I intend to make it true.
Okay, so there isn't. I don't have a token here for either Locus or for patches, but that's okay. You don't actually need a token because this is all theater of the mind. But I'm going to, on roll 20, pop you over to the interior of the Omega, flagship of Atho, the anti-Terran hegemony. I'm going to say that wrong every time, aren't I? You know what? It's just hegemony now. I don't care. The anti-Terran hegemony organization.
Enemy hedges.
Yep, enemy hedges. We don't like them. All right. This is just all the same thing from last year. That's why Macho's still there. We'll put him in the sick bay. His poor knees.
No.
This Velvet wasn't available to join us at this exact time this year. So
unfortunate.
Yeah, but we did do 2 games of Interstitial last week, and Velvet was in both of those. So please don't feel that Extra Life has been short on Velvet content.
Awesome.
All right. So this is the Omega. You are probably meeting in, I don't know, the middle part.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very technical.
It's the Omega class mobile suit carrier, first of its line, and it's the flagship of the Atho. You are in a briefing with the leader of your squadron, Lieutenant Veer Venus. And Captain Radiant Lamech is there also. She's constantly, ever since she took command of the ship, just giving Lieutenant Venus the dirtiest looks, as if she knows something about him that no one else does. Who knows what that could be? And so the lieutenant is going over what is required of you for this mission. So the mission goals are simple, he says. We need to infiltrate and ideally occupy, but if necessary, destroy Madeira base.
Wink, wink.
We also need to, while we're there, extract our intelligence assets, Rex Lightning, and Stuck a Turncoat. If we destroy the base with them in it, well, that's not good. Once we have completed that aspect of the mission, we'll need to rendezvous with Meru Birdman on the Hydron, the flagship of Kiriko, our land-based allies here. If the base is destroyed, we'll use that ship to escape the region before the THF sends any more forces. If the base is occupied, we're to escort the Hadron to that base so that it can aid in the defense. That's the whole mission.
So we're sneaking in.
Well, he says, we're going to drop in from orbit.
In our mechs?
In our roving bastions, we're going to drop in from orbit, deploy our Bayutes that'll let us get through the atmosphere without burning up, and do a lightning strike assault on Madeira base. Hopefully get in before they notice we're there.
Awesome. So will this count?
That sounds like our plan.
So he brings up a display on the wall, and it's South America, and it's a branch coming off the Amazon River, and you can see this is where this hidden base is. So I'm going to
Good to know they still have the Amazon in the future. That's good.
It's owned by Amazon. It is.
Oh yeah,
it's a man-made structure.
It's not trees. It's a large warehouse.
Amazon TM River.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's just what they call the water processing plant at the giant warehouse.
So this mission you are carrying out on behalf of your organization, Atho, and they do have some rules of engagement.
Right.
Rules of engagement are a part of the Beam Saber system that are just things that you're supposed to do, and then
But
things
if we
that you're not
didn't, we might
supposed to
get
do.
fired.
You probably won't get as well paid, or there'll be some penalty, or you'll get, you'll piss off the faction you're working for. And okay, so the rules of engagement for this one are fairly simple. The first rule of engagement is no civilian casualties. So if there are civilians in the area, don't kill them, because Atho wants to be seen as a good organization, not as a kill civilians kind of organization. And the second rule of engagement here is to minimize collateral damage. If possible, if you want to take the base intact, they want to have the defenses intact as well for when the THF shows up. Those are your rules of engagement. Nothing too stressful, we hope.
Will this mission be counting toward my performance review next week?
Every mission counts towards your performance reviews, Patches.
Great. So you'll be watching though, so when we go in and we do a great job. I just want to make sure that you're watching, because the feedback is really important to me.
I'll be right there with you. Don't you worry, McCluskey.
Thank you. Now I want to talk in a deeper voice.
Just do personality mirroring the whole time.
Yeah. You want to
a real
boss, yeah.
Or Star-Lord situation going on.
I learned this in a seminar. Apparently, it makes me more likable to you.
You zip
Captain
up your
Bean.
one-piece flight suit.
Lieutenant Venus turns away from you. Right, there we go. So, planning the mission. This is a free play phase. If you want to talk to each other or talk to other people on the ship, there are lots of people on the ship, you can do that. And then we have the skeleton of a plan already, but because we have an employer, a target, an objective, rules of engagement, we need to pick a tactic and a loadout. So if there's anything that you want to do before we do that, so gathering information or performing downtime activities or just chatting with people, now is the time for that. You're all here in the room together, but you can always flash back to things that happened before this.
I'd like to find out some more about what kind of defenses we're likely to run into.
I would like to help.
Okay. You mean help?
I'd like to oversee and take a leadership role on this.
I'd like to glare at him.
You can just say those things as your characters. That's how role playing works. I'm not sure if you're familiar.
No, Matt, we want.
So, Vir Venus, what kind of defenses do you think we can expect?
The only thing I know is that there are surface-to-air missiles, other types of cannon, flak guns, that kind of thing. And of course, they'll have a complement of roving bastions.
I'm going to vote against the frontal assault.
Well, the hope is that we'll be through the atmosphere before they notice us, but if not, maybe we'll die. But I'm sure that won't happen.
Sure, it won't happen to you. You're a main character.
We're all
What?
we're all main characters in this story called life.
Nice. That's very wise. And so once we get to the base, we're gonna pop out of our bastions and sneak in on foot.
Unless we can fit inside with our bastions, which we won't know until we get there. This is a secret base.
Okay, maybe we could make it fit.
Maybe. So you, Kane, sorry, you wanted to gather some information.
Yeah.
Okay. So how gathering information works is that if you want more specific information about the game world, I'll decide if it's common knowledge or equal to having it. And let's see. So you specifically want to know about the defenses. Now you were previously a pilot for the satrapy of Zera during the Four Seasons War. Do you think your character was on Earth because you were present?
Yep.
For that first battle.
Definitely.
So, do you think that your character was there at the first battle of Madeira all those years ago, 8 years ago?
I think they probably were.
Okay.
It's scarred onto their memory.
Okay. So then you would have some knowledge about this. You would know that when Veer talks surface missiles, those are the ones that you saw in action during that first battle. There were like machine guns and flat cannons, all very large size, pointed towards the sky and out towards the river. And it's surrounded by jungle, which is a difficult thing for a lot of bastions to traverse because of all the trees and swamps, not swampland, wetland and all that stuff. That
I got
would
really
find in
excited.
Maybe it will seem swamp-like to our friend Locus.
Of course. The swamp of the jungle. The jungle.
Going home.
Now, if you want any more detailed information than that, you will probably have to try and do some type of hacking or get in touch with somebody that you might know who would have more detailed information of that.
I may be able to help with getting in touch.
Okay.
Working at a temp agency, and of course, we contract pilots work for all sides. I'd like to phone the head office and I'll see if we have just any information about the place based on people who have worked there. We got a really great knowledge sharing wiki that we all use. It's got a lot of blueprints, got a lot of FAQs. And yeah, we all know that the information is regularly used against us, but it's it's on the waiver form.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm gonna call.
Everybody loves Glassdoor.
Yeah, exactly. It's fair, is what it is.
All right. So, Dave, you're going to call. Is this one of your contacts, one of your allies list?
Yeah. Well, hopefully we get Colin and not Brock. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
These things usually do go through accounting first because whoever pays the most usually, they get preferential treatment.
So you're able to, while you're planning this mission, you've got a few days, so you can use relays to bounce a message over to the local 46 temp agency base on the moon, and hopefully get a reply back before then. So what is the message that you send? What does it say?
Blueprints of base, please.
Okay.
# go local sports team.
All right. This sounds like it might be one of your resolve actions. It sounds maybe like consort.
Yeah, I
Mingle
do
with
have a
allies
point
and
in consort.
Okay. So for this, for gather information roll, we would go into roll 20 here, and we would click on, I think, action roll. Yep, and then scroll down to consort. and it will ask you position and effects. We're just going to do controlled and standard.
I'm so lost.
Did you click on the action roll button at the bottom of your screen? In Roll20.
As discount? I cannot find the button. This is the
Okay.
awkward part of the game.
That's fine. Let's just do /roll 1d6.
And that's what we're talking about. Okay. Okay, 3.
Okay. So 3 on gather information. Means you're going to get a limited information reply. So I think what happens is you bounce this message and you get a ping on your personal terminal in your quarters later on, a few days later, and you see the from line and your heart sinks because it is from Brock.
Cool.
So Brock has sent you a really grainy cell phone picture of the screen of his computer with the blueprints pulled up on it. And there's a lot of glare on the picture. So it's blanking out a great deal of the information that you would actually need. But you do see that there are 2 primary entrances to Madeira base. One of them is underwater. You access it through the river.
Do we still have the fish mech from last year?
Macho's mech, you could probably... I don't remember what happened to Macho's.
Did it explode? We lost a few mechs.
Yeah, I don't remember what happened to Macho's fish robot.
Okay.
But you might have aquatic gear that you can declare once we get down there.
Okay.
And the other entrance is the main entrance, which has, as far as you can tell, approximately 10,000 guns pointed at it.
Okay. I'm going to take this image now. I'm going to hand it off to Kane because maybe he can hack the planet to get at Brock's computer.
Okay.
Which may get me fired, which would also be a good...
Ooh, multi-purpose.
Expressing your drive. All right.
All right. I'll try interfacing with it. Do some scrubbing. Do some
enhance
computer stuff. Enhance.
Sounds like a terrible date. Hey, baby, you want to interface?
For some scrubbing?
For some scrubbing?
I hate that.
Yeah, right?
Okay. So...
Signed up for the shower, got the sponge bath.
Okay. When you interface, you work closely with electronic equipment, making it an extension of your body. You might hack into a technologically advanced vehicle to understand how it works. You could program an electronic device to fulfill your desires, but engineer might be better. So you're doing some hacking on this picture. Are you just dragging it into Photoshop or?
Yeah, I think I'd drag it into Photoshop. If that doesn't work, then I'll just backtrace it through the beam satellites and try and get the original actual image from Brock's computer that he should have just beamed to us in the first place.
Yeah, he's got the IP address now.
Yeah, We've locked in.
Okay, let's roll your interface, which is 2 dice, I believe. So you can just /roll 2d6, or you can use the macro, whichever you prefer. Actually, probably just /roll 2d6 is easier for this because we don't have to do position and effects.
So my keyboard's in Spanish, and when I hit / I get an E with an accent over it.
So you see, you have the one of the squad playbooks in this game has an option that says that your squad's OS is impenetrable to outsiders.
Did Brock just hack me back in real life? Is that what just happened?
Let's find out.
Oh no, Brock's working with Gavin from IT.
Oh man. I don't know how to fix this.
What version of Windows are you on?
I'll do the command for you, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, good.
Yay.
We hold hands and type the keys together.
So you got a 4. Standard information. Okay, you are able to clarify this. You play with the sliders and the exposure in Photoshop, and you're able to resolve most of the image. So you can now see that in addition to the two main entrances, the underwater entrance there's a notation next to it. It says that it has been decommissioned, but it doesn't say whether it's been closed or collapsed off or anything like that, just decommissioned.
Okay.
So that could mean that they collapsed it, or it could mean that they just like boarded it up, or it could mean they just don't guard it anymore because nobody knows it's there. Who knows? Okay.
All right.
Anything else that we wish to do before we jump into it?
I adjust my tie.
Nice.
Excellent. Very good.
Thank you.
Sorry about the constant throat clearing. So we need to pick a tactic. The tactic is the method that the squad is going to use to accomplish the objective. This is a general strategy and requires a detail that explains how the mission opens. Select one of the following tactics and then determine the detail. All right, so the first thing you have to do to start this mission is get through the atmosphere, because that's apparently what they've decided is the best way to do this. So to get through the atmosphere, let's see.
Well, can I pitch something real quick?
Absolutely.
Because are we doing this at night?
You can.
If we do it at night, we got Locust Yokel in a dark mech.
Mm-hmm.
And we got Patches McCluskey in a mech with a suit painted on it, which I assume is a black suit.
100%.
All right. So we have two, and then we have a giant sphere that I presume
Spheres are very
is being dropped like a cannonball.
We could paint it pretty fast.
Okay. I have mine in generic white, and it is pretty new, so I don't know if I want to paint it right now. But
we got a
what I'm
case
saying
for
is
it.
we could fake out the frontal assault and then have some of the less visible ones go for the back door, and then we'll pretend to run away.
Okay. That sounds kind of like a deception tactic. Deception is luring, tricking, and manipulating the target, and the detail is the method of deception. So in this case, the detail would be you have a fake out frontal assault while the darker bastions drop in to the river.
Yeah, and then if we sneak in on foot, I can use a pilot my safety and then use my ultra fast ejection system to get launched to where you guys are. It's the perfect plan.
I see no errors with this, except that I didn't come up with it. And also, I'm side-eyeing you.
Okay. Any other thoughts on that plan, or do you all for it?
I like it. I'll try to bombard them with a data bomb as we're going in so that their cannons don't rip you to shreds immediately with their targeting AIs.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah, I'm helpful like that.
Thanks, buddy.
Fist bump Kane.
This is why we keep working together.
That's right.
I'll keep an eye out for enemy roving bastions so I can tear them apart with my overdrive bite attack.
Okay. The loadout is the amount of gear that each pilot is bringing on the mission. So this is your pilot load specifically. So if you're going to go with a light load, which means you can do all the parkour you want, but you can't carry a lot. A medium load is just like, you might have like maybe a bulletproof vest. And a heavy load is you look like you are here to set the world on fire.
Question.
Yep.
If we took a medium load, but it was like we had climbing gear, 2 weights, once that was expended, would that drop us down to light?
No, that means that you would only have 3 more load left to declare.
Okay. If I'm jumping out of a mech, I feel like extra weight would be bad.
You don't have to. Everyone can pick a different load if they want as well.
I'm going to go light just because I'm a little worried about dying.
Sure.
I'm gonna go medium for all of the reasons I went medium on the mech.
I'll go light too.
Okay.
I'll go medium because I'm going to get loaded for murder.
Okay. So make sure that you click off on your character spreadsheet there what load you have selected. Do not declare any gear yet. You declare gear as you need it and pretend you had it the whole time. That's the fun thing about how this game works.
Oops.
It's okay. You can just unclick it because you only have load slots worth of gear. So, for example, if you have a light load and you need to declare armor, that's 2/3 of your load.
Question about the sheet map.
Yep.
Like grav shoot is in like a blue area under personal items. Is it of a different sort or a different type of thing compared to the ones that are not on the blue background?
Let's see here.
If you sort of scroll halfway down.
Yeah. So I believe the ones in the blue area are the ones that are to your playbook, and the ones that are on the white area are universal supplies.
Okay. So within the context of my own sheet, there's no difference.
Yeah. Okay. And anything that is in italics does not take load to declare. So, for example, your self-destruct remote, you don't have to take load to declare it. You just have that if you want it.
Oh, I'm sure that won't come up.
That's certainly not something that we've been foreshadowing for 3 years. Okay. So you've got your load. Then the next step is to do the engagement roll. After the mission is planned, play jumps right into the action, and we catch up with the squad when they encounter their first obstacle. To see how severe the situation is when the squad gets into it, we make an engagement roll. This is a fortune roll that starts with 1 die for plain old luck. Additional dice get added for major advantages, and dice get removed for disadvantages. So, is the mission bold?
Oh, heck yeah.
Oh, yeah,
it is.
Okay, that brings us up to 2 dice. Is it especially complex?
For some of us.
This in general. I don't think so. So we're at 2 dice. Does the mission exploit the target's vulnerabilities?
Yeah.
It does. Yeah, you found that information. So that's 3 dice. Is the mission's tactic ineffective against the target? I don't think so. Anyone can get tricked. And in this case,
it's informed.
Yeah, and it'll be looking for threats from the sky, and you're giving it a threat from the sky. So you're good. You're up to 3 still. Does the squad receive external support for the mission? Not for the first phase. Is anyone interfering with the mission other than the target? Okay, well, we're back down to 2 dice. Someone is interfering with this mission.
Rock!
Are there any other factors that affect the mission? So differences in squad tier. There is a squad tier difference, but I don't think a big enough one. Specialized equipment, unusual terrain. You said you painted your mechs black to look less obvious against the sky, right?
Of course.
Okay, so let's call it 3D then. 3 dice.
All right.
Well, and Kane and I have done this a couple times before. It's not our first rodeo.
Does the red power tie that's painted on my mech make me become conspicuous, or
the tie is what's messing with our whole plan here?
Yeah, because it's red, it's actually messing up like their detectors.
It might make you 3 times as sneaky. We'll find out when we roll these 3 die.
Here we
It's
go.
a tie of dexterity. There you go.
Can we all roll 1?
Oh, sorry, I already rolled.
Power move. I like it.
But you purposefully failed for us by getting a 4.
A 4 is a success.
No, it's not. I want to.
So a 4. Well, it's not a full success, but it is a success. So with a 4, that means you're in a risky position when you encounter your first obstacle. So let's see. I did have if this went poorly, I did have an orbital battle that you could take part in, but you can look at the map and enjoy the beautiful drawings I made of the Omega and the Giza there. I feel like the Omega looks like a surprised squid, which is what I wanted. So there you go.
Oh my God! Wait a second. It looks like a what? Roll that back for me.
I'm really glad you were able to incorporate your child in making the assets for this game.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Are those things burning up in the atmosphere? Is that us?
Yeah, that's us. We're fine.
Oh, good.
Yep. Because you rolled pretty well. So as you are entering the atmosphere, you will see that your Bayouts deploy around you, and it's like you get flipped into a little bowl. So that's like you have a parachute pack on your back, and it opens up behind you, but it's just a bowl of heat-resistant shielding. So you're looking up towards space in your roving bastion as you fall in through the atmosphere, and the bayou is heating up below you, creating a streak across the night sky below. And I think what puts you in a risky position is the fact that you are all close together when you begin entering the atmosphere, but there's a certain amount of drift from imperfections in the material of the bayou and turbulence in the atmosphere.
Well, we went kind of separately too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the goal was to make sure that there was only one obvious target. But I think as you enter the atmosphere and the bayous burn away and you are now safely free falling, it's not a good term to say safely free falling, is it?
We do it all the time.
You're saying we don't have stabilizers at all?
As you are falling through the sky,
I think it's great.
towards Madeira base at night.
Kane's mech looks just like a grade 5 egg drop experiment that they would do.
You can use your cables to make like the straw supports.
Oh, perfect.
So the defenses flip and they turn towards the primary target that you've set up, which is Discount, your ace pilot.
Hey.
And some of the defenses begin to fire. But what makes this risky for everyone else, not just Discount, who had planned to be in this amount of risk, is a certain red power tie catches the sights of the cannons, and so a couple of the cannons swivel over towards the what is supposed to be the stealth group, and so there are still a few firing towards you, even if the majority of them are focused on the bright white speck in the night sky. So I'm going to.
I think you're joining me.
All right. Let me set up a clock here. I had some clocks chosen. And I don't think we need that many. Let's make a smaller clock. Perfect. And I'm going to make a clock here for landfall, I'll call it. And I'm going to put this onto the objects and tokens layer. Nope, that didn't work. Occasionally, Roll20 is a little bit clunky to work with. I don't know if anyone has experience with it before, but there we go. You should see up top there the landfall token.
Aha! Look at that.
And I'm going to move it down over here. So that is a clock. You fill a clock by doing actions that would narratively make sense, that would narratively, logically fill that action, would work towards that action. So you have to make landfall without dying, without getting exploded.
Oh,
so,
that's an opinion.
What would each of you like to do to ensure your survival here?
Well, I think it may make logical sense in a movie. I'm going to do that thing where my mech puts its arms and legs together and somehow goes faster, even though I've already reached terminal velocity. You know, to evade my enemies.
Okay.
That's bold.
What type of action
Falling
do you
towards
think?
the ground. Time to fall faster.
Yeah, I'm just trying to fall faster.
I'm gonna latch onto his back
Okay.
and fall with
This seems like it. That seems like it might be a group action.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
So group actions are when a group of people work together. And how it works is you pick someone who's leading the group action, then everybody rolls the action, and you take the highest overall die result as your success, but the group leader takes 1 stress for each failed roll. In this case, actually, the group leader, Bastion, because this is a mech action, will have to exhaust 1 quirk for each failed roll.
You know what? I'm happy to take on this leadership position.
Okay.
Great work, McCluskey.
Thanks, everybody.
Very proud of
I
you.
had a
Bob.
whole voice planned and I didn't even use it. Darn it.
Patches stands in for you.
Yeah, maybe Patches just had something in his throat this whole time, and his real voice will come out when he is pulled down by the gravity of Earth.
Perhaps
and it
it
affects his vocal
shall.
cords.
Oh boy, Deckard Cain.
It might. Oh, oh no, not my Deckard. Welcome to the Herodric Mech.
I thought that was my Winnie the Pooh voice.
Listen.
Oh no.
Okay, so what type of action is this?
I'm gonna cry.
What are the names of the actions?
Well, under
Maneuver.
expertise, you have battle, destroy, and maneuver.
Oh, right.
Seems like a maneuver.
Yeah.
It's
Do-
absolutely a maneuver.
The fall
Do all
faster
of us-
maneuver.
Do all of us need to take the same action, or can we be part of the group in different ways?
So this group action is a group maneuver.
Okay.
You can contribute to filling this clock in whatever way makes sense to your character.
Cool.
So it doesn't have to be maneuvering around the guns. It can be any action you take that would assist in landing safely will count towards this clock.
Okay, since they're in the infiltration group, my contribution is going to be slamming on brakes, and
Okay.
I'm going to sort of try to draw a bit more attention to myself as they faster.
Okay.
So I'm going to hang back a bit and just shell them with fire from my beam rifle, which I have on my mech.
Yeah.
And maybe not super effective at this range, but I'm here to make some noise.
Okay. We're here for a good time and
Yeah.
hopefully also a long time.
Yes. And by the way, I'm in a fine
You have a mobility suite on your mech?
Yeah. So this thing flies everywhere.
Okay. So an excellent grapple system, jump jets, foot wheels, or other mobility system. What does this mobility system look like on your mech, do you think?
Like 10,000 thrusters
Very good.
lining it.
You like verniers? I got your verniers right here. Okay. Did we do... Sorry, I'm bouncing back and forth between screens here. That's the one. All right. So this is going to be, right now, you're in a risky position, as we established. And attempting to maneuver out of the way of the things at this distance will have, I would say, standard effect. So you would roll your action roll, and you would select the action maneuver, and then go to position risky, effect standard. And then the two of you who are doing maneuver together would both. Your given maneuver rating.
Well, would my separate action contribute to that?
In this case, you could do a setup action, or your action can also be counting towards the clock separately from their roll.
Okay.
Okay, so Jason, good. You rolled a 6, and sorry, I should say the character rolled a 6. The character's name, of course, being Patches McCluskey, rolled a 6, which is good.
Can we start calling him Clutch McCluskey because of that roll?
Awesome. Big clutch
you
roll
can.
right there.
McClutchsky.
McClutchkey. Yes.
And Locus, you need to roll your maneuver as well.
I rolled
You
2d6
did.
and got a 4 and a 4. Yeah.
Okay, so you both succeeded. So
Woo!
you don't have to use any quirks.
Because we're
And you got a 6. So a 6 means that I tick 3 segments of this clock.
Thank God we can fall faster in space.
Yeah.
I turn on my mech's radio, FM radio.
And I can hear it.
Well, your mechs are touching each other, so yes, you can.
Perfect.
Yeah, just a little Tom Petty.
Just the vibrations coming through.
I sway in my mech chair.
All right, and your bombard, I think you're also in a risky position, and it will have, as you said, from a distance, limited effect. So risky and limited effect on that, unless you want to push yourself or take a what's the word I'm looking for? What is it called in this game? There's a type of dice that you can get that's an extra dice, and it's called the Devil's Bargain and Blades in the Dark, but that's not what it's called here. Okay, collateral die.
Could I...
that sounds like the thing we're supposed to avoid.
That does sound bad. Can I assist by scanning and relaying positions of guns and stuff to them?
So if you want that to be a contribution towards making safe landfall, absolutely. Or you can do that as a setup action, which they could use to increase their effect to standard.
I'll use that as a setup action.
Okay. So in this case, it's still going to be, I'd say, risky standard for you. And you would roll your, what did you say that was that you thought action you were going to use?
There's a scan action that I'm pretty good at. So I'll just scan for the positions of the guns, and then I will relay those coordinates to them.
Sounds good.
All right.
Ooh.
Look at you, Einstein, huh?
Oh, there's 6. Okay, so that increases your position or your effect to standard discount on your bombard roll. So you can do a risky standard bombard roll.
Old risky
Alright.
standard.
And I have a point in bombard, so that'd be 2d6.
Let me see here. So bombard, you have 1 point in bombard, so you roll 1d6.
Oh, but if it were acuity, it would be 2.
Yeah.
All right.
You got this.
Boom!
Oh, yeah.
Oh, because
Oh,
you got
yeah.
it.
Very good. This
What is
is
happening?
the opposite of how Blaze in the Dark, your Forge in the Dark games usually go when I'm running them. So,
We've broken the curse at last.
all right. So yes, that fills up the rest of the clock. Boom.
We did it?
You did it.
This is
Shockingly,
absurd.
according to plan.
There's no way.
Yeah,
This is what it feels like to succeed.
it is. You got
I'm
it.
used to losing.
That promotion's yours.
So the landfall goes as expected. 3 of you splash into the Amazon, and discount. You land. How far
Well,
from the base?
I got to
you wanna be?
eject from my. So the final part of the plan is to fly my suit away while I get ejected.
Okay. So you're going to eject from the IMEC 9.
Yeah, using the ultra fast ejection seat. And 1 sec, I just have to declare a remote control. I feel like it would be bad to not have that.
No, just send the iMac 9 Pro just into the jungle.
Now, are you going to use your grav chute so that you don't splat onto the ground after you eject, or do you
Oh,
have
heck
another
yeah.
plan? Okay. So that uses up 1 of your load. So
Yeah.
you have 2 load remaining. And you eject from there, and I'm going to do a fortune roll here just
Wouldn't
to
it
see how
be-
this goes.
It would be a pretty bad ejection system if it didn't have some kind of built-in chute or something, wouldn't it?
Oh no, it's just fast.
We got rid of that
Yeah.
pesky parachute for more boosters.
It's got so many G's. Yeah, when you get kicked out of that thing, you slow down to terminal velocity. It's like hitting the ground.
So why would you need a chute, I guess?
Move fast and break things.
You could shoot this. This is like a Gauss rifle.
Yeah, it magnetically accelerates me down a track.
All right. So as I said, I'm going to do a fortune roll. just to determine how well this goes for you, because the ejection system's not going to fail. Palo Alto Electronics is known for their machines that work until they don't. So the fortune roll here is just to see like how the winds treat you, if you get tagged by a stray flak shell, etc. And I'm going to roll that using the tier of the defenses on this base, which is 3.
But I did shoot them pretty good, and they're going to
You're
aim
right.
at the mech.
No, you're correct. I will reduce that down to 2. And they're aiming at your mech. So this is just fortune. This is just luck to see how your luck is. And your luck is very good.
Wow. What is today?
Hashtag blessed.
Hashtag macros.
Would you like to describe to us what happens here, what this looks like, Dave?
Well, this was a fortune roll.
Yeah, this is so now you safely 100%, it works. So what does it look like? What do we see in the audience?
Okay, so I grab my remote vehicle control, which is an item I'm declaring. For my mech, I give it the coordinates to fly to safety, wait for me to summon it later. I pull the ultra-fast ejection system button, and I close my eyes. I feel something that is like a weight on my chest, and wake up in safety. 1 minute later, completely unaware of what transpired between those 2 moments in time.
I think what the audience sees is
and an ocean of bullets surround the point I'm landing at with one empty spot right around my body.
Amazing.
Okay, so what the audience sees in between those moments is you eject like a railgun from the cockpit of the iMech 9 Pro, and you race across the night sky while the defenses are still firing at your Bastion. And you are swallowed by darkness, so it appears, but what actually happens is Kane's horrible egg thing opens up, and the arms cradle you and pull you inside of the cockpit right before it splashes down into the river.
Ooh, adorable.
What a beautiful moment.
An egg papoose.
Mm-hmm.
Just like that cartoon you watched.
Yep, this is exactly like that cartoon. Scooby-Doo has some
I'm
crazy
not excited
villains.
about the next part.